In 2002, Connecticut Governor John Rowland began ordering layoffs of thousands of state employees, blaming a downturn in the economy.
I remember it like it was yesterday. We were brought into a room in Portland, one of our training rooms, and I remember the chief at the time coming in and sitting 10 of us down. Now, 10 of us is about a fifth of the department. We only have 50 officers total. That includes captains and colonels.
Day before my 21st birthday, I got my, layoff slip, had to sign all my papers and pack all my stuff, and basically drove home hysterically crying because I didn't know, what I was going to do.
I went on unemployment for many months, for about 4 months. It was that I was let go in January of 2003, and it wasn't until May of 2003 when I found a job working for a consultant.
And the executive director came and gave me the letter, and I was obviously very upset. I was a single parent at the time. My daughter was 7. I was very concerned about, how I was going to take care of my daughter.
I ended up losing my apartment. I had to go live with my sister. So I was basically sleeping on almost like a cot on the floor, for a while.
At the time I had a 2-year-old daughter at home. My wife had just given birth to an infant, and I was struggling with the thought of how am I going to now feed my family, and where do I start from here?
I was gone for a total of 16 months, and I had a car loan at the time. I had a lot of student loans, and I was worried about how I was going to make ends meet.
I decided to turn it around and make it a positive spin as much as I could, and I became involved in all the rallies to try to get the union at the Capitol, at the LOB.
Denise Bouffard lost her job as a child support enforcement officer.
We had over 900 phone calls a day. We go to court. We try to get the child support that's due the children.
Because they had strong unions, public service workers rallied their community to oppose the job and related service cuts.
This layoff of 2,834 state employees isn't just about folks like me. It's about the 104 individuals and their families that I work with.
And because the cuts were not the result of the state budget, but actually due to political retaliation, their unions took the governor and his administration to court.
After weekend labor concession talks broke down, CBAC, the organization that represents 13 state employee unions, decided to file the lawsuit. Lawyer David Golub contends the governor has broken the law 3 different times.
1, that the governor has impermissibly singled out union members and only union members for layoffs.
They say Rowland broke First Amendment laws that pertain to union organizing.
2nd, that the governor has singled out his political opponents, people who refused to endorse him in the last election. 3rd, that the governor is seeking to penalize unions, but not just unions, anyone, for seeking to assert vested contract rights.
Then I got the call to be asked if I wanted to be a named plaintiff on a lawsuit. And that was a very scary moment for me because part of me was like, oh my God, am I going to be singled out? I'm a named plaintiff against the governor. Like, would I get my job back? Would I be blacklisted?
12 years later, in April 2015, the coalition of state employee unions reached a settlement in their lawsuit over the former governor's illegal layoffs.
The victory with this lawsuit is kind of like, stick it right back at you and say, hey, we knew you were the bad guy and we finally proved it. And here's justice, not only for, the thousands that you laid off or were bummed or just were thrown out on the street, but for the thousands of clients that were denied services that they had a right to.
Then on October 1st, the federal judge overseeing the lawsuit granted final and formal approval of the settlement.
And I think the message that it sends is to, especially with how the union is right now in different states, I hope that this gives other unions a boost and for the unions to, look at this lawsuit and see that there is hope.
I got involved because I saw how it could affect somebody that sits on the wayside. When I started state service in 2002, I wanted nothing to do with politics or anything that went with it. But 7-8 months into state service, I saw the immediate effect that could happen to an individual. When I came back to state service in 2004, I wanted to make a difference.
That's why we continue to exist as unions, because we stand up to that bully, and we stand up together. And it's that one individual that's out there, that lone individual that's getting bullied, that we stand up for and we say, no, this is wrong, you can't do this.
The union is basically our sword and our shield. So they fight for us and they protect us.
Union members can access information on the settlement and its implementation at a class action webpage.